Hi everybody, my name is Dual Davis with Wormiculture, and today we're going to talk about a question that came in, which is about microbes. I've mentioned these before. It's the little tiny, I don't know what they really are, but they're like bacteria and things that are eating the fruit and vegetables and the cardboard and bedding you put in, and the worms are really eating those. And they might scrape some of the food away, but really that's what they're eating. And I've talked about positive or growing the microbe amount in a bin before, and that's because that's what the worm's eating. You need to make sure there's a lot of it in there. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you the difference in what a good microbe bin is and what a bad one is. And you know, you put in bedding in a bin and you expect it to get microbes. That just doesn't happen. So let's take a look at these bins that I have here, and we're going to kind of explain and walk through this of what's going on. Okay, so let's take a look at these two bins here. So I've got two bins. I've got bin A, which is one bin that I've had for a long time. It's actually one of the older ones that I have. And then I have this one right here, which I haven't really fully started yet. It has the holes in the sides, but that's about it. I filled it with cardboard. So let's go to this bin first. All right. So as you can tell, no moisture on the top. Why? I haven't added any water. Nothing really in the bin either. Why? It's just dried cardboard. There's nothing in here. There's no microbe content. There's no worms. There's no nothing. In this bin, if I were to throw worms in, they would quickly start having issues. There's no microbe content. There's nothing in here for them to really eat. Microbes don't, as far as I can tell, they don't spread as quickly on the cardboard as they do on plant or vegetable matter or fruits. So there's nothing in there for them to eat. Now compare that with this bin. Now, this bin is pretty much at its peak. It's done. Now there's some little bugs in here. Actually, quite a few bugs in here. But this is incredibly rich in microbes. In fact, if I were to dig in here, I mean, this is pretty much all composted. Now it's very wet because I haven't touched this bin in a while, but look at this. I mean, there's worms all through here, but this is incredibly rich. And there's lots of bugs though. I don't know what kind of bugs these are, but they're just sort of hopping around. They're not really doing anything. They don't really leave the bin either. But this is incredibly rich with microbes. Now there's still some non-composted material in here. But this material in here is incredibly rich with microbes. And if I wanted to start this bin, I might add material like this to the bin. Now what I do with this one is, as you can tell, there's still some, this is ready to be sorted. This is actually a little bit too moist. But this is something that I would add this to a bin such as this, that's new. I would add worms. But at first I would add some of this and mix it in. I want this to be all throughout the bin. I want all of this to be coated with this type of material. And then I'm going to add some food, and then you're going to add the worms. But the thing is that this already has the microbes in it. Now the worms also have microbes. They have them in their gut, and they excrete them. So they will build a microbe population. It just takes a lot longer if you don't add material like this. Actually, this is a little bit too wet. You can see there's some fluid buildup in there. Oh, that's going to drain away that way. But so it's very important to, if you're really starting a bin or really want to expand it, to actually have this microbe environment that they can survive in. And this is, as I said, this is incredibly rich with microbes. And it would be perfect to add to a new bin. And it would really get it going very quickly. You know, as you can tell, there's lots of worms in here. I mean, they're doing fine. They're still processing some of the stuff towards the bottom in here, it looks like. I didn't realize I still had cardboard in here. I thought all that was consumed as well. But so as you can see, there's still some cardboard in here. But, you know, it's one of those things where microbes are incredibly important to the bin. Without the microbes, the worms have nothing to eat. They start starving. They'll start dying. And in a new bin like this, what happens is you have your population of, let's say, you know, a pound of worms shrink to a half a pound. And then they start to finally come back. But it takes a lot longer. If you have these microbes built in this bin and they're already there, they have stuff to eat and they can start expanding right away. Now, it doesn't normally work out that way because when you first get your worms, what's also going to happen is they're going to have to try to get used to this new environment. That's why I keep a lot of these very similar. So if I move worms from here to here, the environment's pretty much the same. They're going to get the same food that they had in a bin like this. But the difference is that it's just new. And sometimes, yeah, the microbe content isn't quite there, but it'll build up pretty quickly because I'm going to mix in, I'll take a shovelful of this, I'll dump it right in the bin, and I'll get moving with it that way. Now, I'm not quite ready to do that today, but that's where I'm about to start this bin right here. I start a lot of bins, and I keep stuff moving through them, and the way to do that is to keep the microbe count up so the worms keep multiplying. So I hope that kind of explained it a little bit. That's why it's important, but also This doesn't have any microbes. If I were to add vegetables, it would have some, but not a lot. It would take a while. You need some really organic, rich material that already has those microbes to break things down in it, and that will help them. They'll get there eventually, but it really compresses the time that you need. Instead of saying, okay, a few weeks of this sitting out with food in and everything, maybe throw in a little dirt to get some microbes in there. We throw in some of this, you mix it up, and it's already microbes. I mean, it's already just loaded with them, and they're everywhere. And then you add your food, and then you're hoping that. And the reason why you really want to grind up your food is because the smaller the pieces, the more area the microbes have to attach to. So it's the idea that, if I have a piece of paper that's flat, well, it can only stand, it's flat on the ground, they can only stick to one side. But then if I take it and rip it up into pieces, well, they now have the entire side, plus they have all the little edges around it. So, and you keep ripping it up smaller and smaller, well, there's more and more edges. And that's what happens with cardboard when you shred it like this. There's a lot of edges, there's a lot of places for those microbes to go, and there's a lot more food in the bin because of the size of it. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that explained a little bit. If you have questions, please ask them in the comment section, and I will try to get back to them. And thank you.